Welcome back to Once Upon a Tiny Farm. My name's Drew. In today's video, whoa, hey, I'm talking here. In this video, we're going to be experimenting with stopping their feed that I've been feeding them for the last few years. And we're going to be feeding them beans and rice and some split peas that we've cooked and see how they do, like their egg production, if it declines or goes up or stays the same over the next week or so. So stick around. This might be a very informative video. And there's a lot of reasons why you might want to consider doing this. So what we did was we cooked, I think it was 1 bag of organic brown rice. We did probably a little over a pound of split peas, and we cooked those together with the brown rice. And that actually, because it was brown rice, it needed to cook longer. If we had done white rice, we could have cooked the split peas together with the rice, and we wouldn't have overcooked the peas like we did, but I don't think the chickens really care. They just got overcooked peas. But anyway, that's what we did. And then we cooked the, I think it was a combination of navy beans and black beans in our Instant Pot. And we cooked those and then mixed it all together, and I put it in a bucket, and I'm just keeping it in our shed. So every morning when it's time to feed them, I'm just throwing them a few scoops of that, that mix. And I'm also throwing them some of our black soldier fly larvae that I still have, that I feed them every day. So I want to make sure they're getting tons of protein. This is full of, say, nutrient-dense, high protein. I would imagine this is high protein. I'm not sure what the protein percentage would be, but there's so many beans. There's just as many beans as there is rice in there. So this should be filling them up and hopefully make them very happy. Plus, on top of that, we'll be giving them the food scraps that they normally get. We feed them back their eggshells from their own eggs and any remaining food scraps from our cooked meals that we've had for dinner that they could eat. So they get a lot of good stuff. Of course, they get more stuff during the growing season because we have more fresh green stuff that's always going in or out of coming out of our garden. So, but yeah, this video is going to be interesting to see how they perform with this feed that any of us could cook for them ourselves, and perhaps we'd have healthier chickens this way. So let's find out how we do. I already fed them 2 full jars of this, and they ate it super fast. So I'm actually going to give them a 3rd jar. They seem to be going nuts for this stuff. Should be extremely full of protein and definitely full of calories. This is all cooked stuff. I'm curious if I do this for a week, if I'll notice any difference in their amount of eggs they're laying and just their overall level of contentment in here. I guess we will see. I've been getting consistently around 4 or 5 eggs from I think I have 10 laying birds in here along with the 1 rooster. So maybe this will, I don't know what to expect here, but there's a lot of reasons why you might want to at least experiment feeding them different kinds of food other than commercial feed, because the commercial feed has gotten very expensive. And as I mentioned in one of my last videos, we don't even know. Some people have mentioned Tractor Supply's feeds have been tampered with, and we just don't know what exactly we're feeding our chickens sometimes when we order those commercial feeds. So this way you have more control over what you're feeding them, and it could be done for a lot cheaper if you're just feeding them rice and beans. So I'll see how these guys do throughout the week. All right, day 2 of feeding these guys some yummy rice and beans and split peas. I'm a little late getting out today, so I'm just gonna get these guys fed as soon as possible so they don't attack me. Where is this? I've also been feeding them some black soldier fly larvae. I didn't show that yesterday, but I feed them to this every day as long as I have a big bag of these guys. Give them something the actual meal. Now don't get me wrong, they got excited when I fed them their grains mix that I had been making for them, and I've done videos on. If you want to check one of those videos out, I'll link some of those below. But I think they're way more excited for eating this rice and beans, these actual just cooked foods that you and I would eat. So I'm curious. Now the weather's gotten a lot colder today and this week, so that might affect egg laying, but I really want to experiment with this and see if I could do this for the long term, how it'll affect them. And if this works out, this should be very nutrient dense for them. Should keep them very full. At least in my mind it should. This is something that a lot of us could do and feed our chickens for a pretty affordable price. I mean, rice and beans is not that expensive, so we'll just keep an eye on these guys over the next week or so. Oh, I have 2 more chickens I need to feed over in my chicken tractor across the yard. Let's go feed them too. All right. Got all the wood here for my new raised beds. They're going to be going in this area. I've had these 2 chickens here tilling up this area, mixing away some of the weeds and grasses that I neglected last year that have been growing. So I've been moving them in this tractor every day. I'm actually going to move them back. So I'm going to put the food back where I'm planning to move them so they could just munch down on it and get to work. This is what I've been doing every day with these guys. Some room for them. You guys like it too, huh? The ground's really frozen today, so they're gonna probably have a hard time finding any bugs or worms, but maybe I'll throw them some extra black soldier fly larvae today. You guys finished all your food yet? No? Still got some left. My goodness. You guys full already? You guys aren't. Gotta unfreeze your water there. Okay, let me try to get this for you guys. Watch out. There you go. My goodness, are you guys done yet? Make sure you wash all that rice and beans down with some water. It would be very beneficial for a lot of us to know that we could make our own feed, and we could do it very, very affordably if we had to. And not just if we had to, but like, what if we did this now and it actually makes our chickens happier than on that commercial feed? Because if you look at those lists on the back of a feed bag, they're very long, and there's lots of things in there you might not agree with or even know how to pronounce it or what it means or what it does. This way you make it really simple. You know what your food is, where it's coming from for your birds, because you're eating those birds' eggs. So I just think it's a win-win if this works out. This could be beneficial to a lot of our backyard flocks. All right, I think we're at day 3 of our experiment. They look very hungry and excited this morning. Let's get them a few more scoops of this yummy concoction. Looks like it froze a little bit in the shed. I'm gonna give them 2 big scoops. I'm gonna put one over here. There you go. There you go, guys. We're hungry this morning, aren't we? They gave me 5 eggs yesterday, which is a slight improvement over the 3-4 eggs that we have been getting. So we're off to a good start with our rice and beans experiment here. Ooh, get in there. This is day 4, I believe. I think our plan is working. I want them to start flipping this pile in here. Ah! I just turned that last night, and by the end of today, I bet it'll all be flattened. That's all their bedding and some new stuff that I added. Making compost with the chickens. So, I think we're on day 4 or 5 of feeding our birds this rice and beans mixture. And on the first day, we actually got 5 eggs from them. And the second day, it was like 4 eggs. And then yesterday, we only had 2 eggs. But I'm wondering if the weather is starting to have something to do with it. Because as you can see, I don't know if you can see, it's a little snowy behind me. And now it's raining. And yesterday was kind of cold and windy. So I think the feed is doing okay. I might need to figure out how much is the right amount to give these birds. Like I have 11 birds in here. And maybe I'll give them a couple extra scoops today because it's cold and it's been a little windy. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep doing what I've been doing. I think we're on day 5. They're getting 2 good things today. We're getting actual food scraps. We filled up this little bucket we keep in our kitchen. I'll give them this first. They go nuts for this stuff. Feed them back their eggshells, a whole bunch of other food scraps. And then we're gonna give them a few more scoops of the experimental feed. Hey. There you go. A lot of good stuff in there. Oh yeah. Looks like this bucket is almost done. Might have another day or so left to give them. So I'm gonna have to make more or decide if I'm not gonna do this anymore. But I'm kind of leaning towards doing this for a while because we bought a couple more bags of rice, just especially for them, and peas. So I think we're gonna keep going at it and see what happens. It's hard to say for sure whether this feed is doing what it needs to for the birds because the weather affects them a lot too. And like this morning, everything's frozen, everything frosted. It's March 1st. And yesterday everything was wet and muddy. And it's just been, not the most comfortable environment for these guys to be laying the most eggs, but they are consistently laying 3 or 4 eggs this past week. So I'm happy with that, but I'm hoping that it will continue to rise. And that level of egg laying was what I had been seeing with the whole grain feed that I'd been giving them too, that I actually made for them as well. But I think this is working out pretty good. I think they're pretty happy. And as long as I can continue to give them a lot of food scraps too, I think this is a great diet to give your chickens and keep them fed pretty well on a budget. And that's very important these days. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up this video on 7 days of feeding my chickens rice and beans. And let me know what you think. Let me know what you think and comment down in the comments below if you've ever tried something similar like this with your own flock of chickens. Let me know. I think that it was fairly successful, and I think that it might need another week of trialing to dial everything in really good, to make sure I'm giving them the right amount and all that kind of stuff. So 2 of the chickens that were in the tractor earlier in this video, I had them in that tractor for the last like 3 or 4 months. So they haven't been intermixed with this flock in the main run here. And I just had them move everywhere that I needed them to move. And I just put them back in the coop and the run with the rest of the chickens. And I think that stressed them out the last 2 days, introducing those 2 chickens. They haven't seen each other in a really long time. So all of that might have messed up the egg production. I'm hoping I might do another video on this. I need to make another batch of rice and beans and peas, and I might do another week and maybe make another video if people are interested in this kind of thing. I'll see what the feedback is like on this video. Anyway, that's gonna wrap this video up. I appreciate all of you watching, and like this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.